Well, it's time now for business, starting with a look at the airlines deciding to keep their Boeing 373 MAX 8 planes on the ground following the Ethiopian airline crash. To tell us more about the economic impact of all this, I'm joined in the studio now by Yuka Okoye. Yuka.
Hi, Haxi. Well, Cayman Airlines in the Caribbean has announced that it's grounding the two 737 MAX 8 it operates until further notice. Ethiopian Airlines has also decided not to fly the model for now. But the biggest impact comes from China, where state authorities ordered all aircraft of this type to be grounded for at least 8 hours. Sunday's disaster raised safety questions about Boeing's bestseller. Introduced in 2017, about 350 of those planes have been delivered around the world and 5,000 more have been ordered. Boeing says there is no need for now to issue any new guidance to its operators, but says it's ready to send a technical team to the crash site to provide assistance. The plane maker has decided to postpone the planned ceremonial debut of another aircraft, 777X, that had been set for Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on Boeing's shares when the US markets open later this Monday. But here in Europe, major markets opened in positive territory, including here in Paris. This despite France's central bank downgrading its growth forecast for the first quarter of this year by 0.1%. Germany's Commerzbank rose 2.8% after saying it started merger discussions with Deutsche Bank. Earlier in Asia, shares mostly rebounded from last week's heavy losses. Chinese shares rising on hopes of more policy support for the slowing economy, as you can see, up almost 2%. It's 8 years to the day since a massive tsunami knocked out power at Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, causing a meltdown inside 3 of its 4 reactors. The crisis is still ongoing as its operator TEPCO tries to cool down the reactors towards an eventual decommissioning. Meanwhile, the cost of managing nuclear waste has been skyrocketing, as Alison Sargent reports.
Across northeastern Japan, residents begin the day with bowed heads, remembering the triple catastrophe that changed their lives 8 years ago. At the Fukushima nuclear site, the disaster is ongoing as efforts continue to shut it down for good.
We have a sense of duty to accomplish our goals. We will do our best to meet expectations. We hope our work will lead to their hope.
The cost estimates for cleanup keep rising. In 2016, the Japanese government revised the expected total to 176 billion euros, twice as much as its original target. But last week, an independent think tank put the cleanup cost at 648 billion, nearly 4 times the latest government estimate. The biggest cost is also the biggest challenge for cleanup operations, disposing of nuclear wastewater, which is produced when the reactors are doused in water to keep cool. Over 1 million tons of the wastewater have already been produced, and the amount will nearly double by 2030. The radioactive water is rapidly building up in storage tanks across the site, as operators TEPCO consider permanent solutions. The cheapest option would be to cover the reactors in a concrete sarcophagus and release the wastewater into the sea. This idea has seen pushback from local fishermen, who say consumers are already reluctant to eat fish from the area. Displaced residents don't like the option either. They say simply covering up the nuclear debris would force them to give up hope of ever returning to their homes.
An ongoing crisis in Fukushima, as Alison Sargent reported.
Yuka Okoye with the business. Thank you very much indeed.